Hello, good evening. We have music this time. I hope you can hear it. My name's Danny, says it right down there. This is Easy 8's Online Painting Club. If you're new to the show, this is a place where you can come along, join with some friends, make some friends, chat over there with these crazy guys in the live chat, and basically get some miniatures painted. Doesn't matter what it is that you're painting. Do you know, it doesn't even have to be painting. It could be whatever it is that you want to be doing. As long as it is something related with your hobby, come along and join in for some live entertainment. I say entertainment is literally going to be me probably taking the mick out of myself, because last week's show was absolutely awful. So that was supposed to be the start of Volume 3, our third year into live streaming. Great community, and I thought that Volume 2 was a little bit lackluster from my point of view. A lot of behind the scenes stuff, didn't put enough effort into it, and I was like, do you know what, Season 3 or Volume 3, that's where it's going to be. Going to start afresh. Microphone cut out halfway through the show, no music. Mate, it was terrible, and all of that on top of it, it was on a Tuesday because of my schedule. It was awful, so we only had a few people watching. So they're starting again, Season 3 or Volume 3, starting again from now. Welcome. We've got a couple of people in the live chat already. We've got Kez Hyle, we've got Jeff Oi, and we've got Wet Palette Miniatures. Howdy. Hi guys, thanks for coming along. We aren't just here on YouTube, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and we're also on Discord. So if you do like what we do, it makes a big difference to me. Like, follow, share, and subscribe. Every little thing that you do, every little bit that you do helps me make this show grow big and strong, makes me feel really good about myself, feeds my ego, and helps make the show better, grow the community, because that's what it's all about. It's about sharing the wealth of experience, knowledge, all the providers, all the businesses, etc., all out there that help make your hobby experience life that much more enriching. That's a big posh word for you, enriching. Oh look, my what a great way to start the show. My diffuser fell out of my light. I'll put that back in a second, shall I? What a great start to Volume 3. Shall we just go and crack on with some painting of some miniatures, and let's just see how well the cameras behave. This one was been a little bit blurry earlier on. I don't really know what was going on. There was a little bit of motion blur, like the frame rate was a little bit behind. If that does bother you, if you notice it, do let me know. It seems to have stopped, which is great from my test shots earlier on. But if you are experiencing problems with sound, if you experience problems with video, let me know. I don't know if there's anything I can do during the show, but I will take steps, whatever I can, to try and make the experience a little bit better for you. Cool, I'm going to head straight on over the workbench because I just want to crack on, and I'll explain why when we go on over there. So here we go. Here is my workbench. What you can see looks nice and clean, but just outside of the area here, it's a cluster of stuff that really needs tidying away. While I'm talking now, I'm just very stealthily, unbeknownst to you, putting my diffuser back into my light. I really need to tie those in place. There we are, perfect crime. No one will ever know. So, what am I going to be doing today? Exactly what I was doing last week, is just trying to finish off my little Tyranids. The reason that I really want to crack on with just painting today is over the last few years I've noticed that I dribble on quite a bit because I want to talk. I'm excited. It's what we are all here about. But over the last few months I've come to learn that I have ADHD to quite an excess, and on learning how that affects me. I've been learning why or how it interferes with the things I like to do and the things I don't like to do. There's a lot of things that prevent me from getting paint on my miniatures, and one of those things is just enthusiastically talking about it and not getting it done. So I'm just really quite keen to kind of press on. The reason I want to kind of do something about it now is because it's my 41st year, 41st revolution around the sun. At the end of October, the very last day of it, on Halloween, I turned 41, and the 41st millennium. It just felt like I should probably do something. So I'm just going to really, really focus on getting as much of my my Tyranid forces, all my 40k forces, as complete as I possibly can. Excuse me, I do have quite a cough today. It's coming back. That little chest infection I had a little while ago, it's coming back at me, so I will be coughing throughout the show, and I'm going to try and not do that. Apologies before we get any further. What am I going to be doing with my little Tyranids today? This is just one of 16 of these particular little miniatures that I've got. This is my Termagant, carrying a little flesh borer. Today I'm going to be just highlighting the edges of all the chitin, which is basically all of their armor plates. My brush is all quite stiff. Last week I was trying to enhance the lighter tones because they were all quite dark. Because I had previously painted them and rushed them, I did not like that. So what I'm going to be doing this week is just highlighting the edges with my brightest colour of grey, which is my Administratum grey, this colour here, and hopefully they'll look really posh. I'm not too fussed about the quality. I'm going to try to make them look really good. I'm going to try and take my time with them and not rush them. Try and spend the same amount of time on each one. I know that I'll probably get quicker naturally as I do it. But what I don't want to do is just start rushing them. And at the end, they all start looking really horrible because I just be like, oh yeah, that'll do, that'll do, that'll do. Try and be consistent with my efforts. And then they should look really smart. But they are a horde creature. There are lots of them. Say I have 16 of them. So I'm not too fussed about like making it this particular model or a group of models stand out like you would maybe a leader model or something like that. So yeah, that's that. If I do get that done, he has some claws. He has little secondary arms down here, little claws at the ends. He's got some hooves with some little spikes here and there. And just to break up the colour, because he's very dominant grey and yellow. I was going to say green, but they're definitely grey and yellow. Those little claws just seem to kind of disappear. When you compare it to a Hormigaunt model, this one has actually had those claw colours painted in. It really lends a lot to the model, really breaks him up. So I'm really keen to get all of my Tyranids. I have to go back through a few of them to get all of their claws painted in this sort of colour. There's a lot more to it than this. That is just very obviously painted slightly off white, but it will help break up that monotony of two colours. There'll be three. So I've noticed my camera's ever so slightly off centre, so I'm drifting off to the corner up here where you can't see anything. So I'm going to try my best to stay here. That's where I am. Now remember, it's just under there. And normally I work directly under the camera. It's off to the side today. Okay. Excuse me. Yeah, that is a bit of an irritating cough. It's getting worse as the day goes on, but I'm feeling fine. I would love to know what it is that you're painting this evening. If you are working on a project this evening, do let me know. I am genuinely. I'm not just saying that to like get your in just to generate likes. I'm not the sort of person that harvests the internet attention. Genuinely, I'm interested in what your projects are, so do let me know. I would love to see photos. You could put your photos up on the Facebook account. It's very difficult to do that. Facebook some months ago now changed something on my page or that type of page. I don't really know what it is that they've done, but you can't put photos up or posts on the mentions tab like you used to be able to. But you can go to the listing, because every week on Facebook I go, here's this episode, talk about what I'm going to talk about, and you can put it as a comment. So put your pictures up there. I'd love to see them. Or you can come along at the end of the show and join me on Discord at the Easy 8 after party, because quite a few people come and join me there some weeks. Not last week, because last week was a Tuesday. So I invite you to the after 8, the Easy 8 after party. It's really easy to say that, Easy 8 after 8 party now. Okay, cool, whatever. Wet Palette Miniatures say they look nice to paint. Yeah, they are. These are a little bit small and fiddly, and I suppose the sculpts are a little bit dated now, and I get very picky about some of the details. I've now discovered that is an attribute of ADHD, which is there's an element of OCD in there where I want it to look a very particular way. I've seen it that way, I'm thinking it that way, and because the sculpt might not allow me to, I can't quite get my image in my head across. So I have to kind of give in a little bit and just loosen up and enjoy the painting. I'm painting more mechs, says Kez. Excellent. What mechs are you painting this evening? I'd love to know. Wonderful. I've got how many? I've got 16 to paint. Okay, cool. So let's just crack on, shall we? I've actually got one over here. One that was painted previously. This is when I realised that my midtones were missing. So it's all very, very dark grey. Compare it to here. You can see this was very dark grey. So the idea last week was to kind of bring that mid-tone grey back up a little bit, and then the highlights here. And I will do this sort of feature on all of them, but they won't look so stark in contrast. So that's the idea here. Wonderful. Okay, cool. Let's get some Administratum grey. I'm actually going to give this a really good shake because I haven't used this one for a few weeks now. I'm really sorry about the coughing. It's just a really horrible, tickly, dry sensation. Yeah, hopefully it goes away again. Jeff says, just taking pics and boxed up 2 big orders. Hoorah! And thanks for the minis. You're welcome. A few episodes ago, that feels like a lifetime ago now, I painted up a couple of World War II Home Guard, World War II British Home Guard miniatures for you, for Jeff. And so that you can display them in photos for your customer with your, is it your Martello? Your Martello tower? Am I saying it right? Martello or Martella? Martello tower. Anyway, just giving my paint a good old waz on the Easy 8 Wazomatic. Every time. It's so stupid. I'm sorry. It's just for Stafford, really, who doesn't seem to be present this evening. He'll be later. Okay, cool, there we go. Giving that a good old mix-up. Kes says, I've been painting up the Zeus, Orion and Wolfhound. I do like a Zeus. I do like an Orion. The Wolfhound, I'm not a massive fan. Is the Wolfhound, that's a medium, is it? It's right at the bottom of the medium line in terms of its weight category, or is it a light? I can't remember. Right, I'm just getting a little bit of this light grey in the palette, and I'm just mixing a little bit of water just off screen. The reason I've got it off screen is because it's actually quite a small space to work in here on the camera, but also my water pot is not very well cleaned out, and I don't want you to know about it because it's embarrassing. It's clean water, but the pot could do with a clean. That's why I was a little bit late on today. My partner has just got home from a week away in London, and I was having dinner, and then time got away. So yeah, I had to run around a little bit just before the show started. Okay, here we go. Using my Raphael Kalinsky brush number 0. I'm just going to start off nice and simple, just like I did last week. Just going to start on the top of the carapace. I like to start on these bits here because they're just nice and big and easy to kind of get to. And I'm just going to start probably a little bit overloaded in the brush there. There we go, it's a bit better. And I just like to bring out the details a little bit just by running a brush tip along the edge in a standard edge highlight, really. That simple. As I've been painting them, I have been wondering, should I do all the edges or should I just do like some edges, because it can look like they've just gone and painted every single edge, and that might not be, you know, conducive to, you know, the realistic-ish approach that I'm trying to get across. But it does make them stand out a little bit. So for now, I'm just kind of like painting most of the edges. Gonna highlight. Now there's a little chink in the armour here. A little chink. Like a little split. Like I said a million times before, I just paint the edges of that, and it turns into like a little V, but it's got like a little dull edge on the tip. So what I do now, I paint a nice line going out and basically extend that. And what I can do now is just get a bit more paint, and I can really enhance that, because I'm going to put in some false ones, and I make those small, and I make the actual notches, the actual damage bits, if you like. I like to make those look like they're really big ones. I can make them look really quite thin and narrow, like the actual proper splits in the natural armour. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a little line here, quite randomly. I can make that a little bit longer. Be sure that the colour is nice and opaque. I don't want to come back and have to do all over again. So as much as I can do now will be lovely. And all I'm doing is painting a little line and then just widening out the bottom here. Like that. That's quite nice, isn't it? And hopefully if I compare it to the one that I realised where I needed it to be lighter, that looks much better. I don't know what you guys think. I don't know if the camera's picking it up very well. I've got a really old monitor that I view everything on here, and it's a bit blurry, so I can't really see a very sharp focus on there at all. Anyway, cool, that's that. Stop talking about it, Danny, just move on. Right, okay, while I'm here, I'm also going to do this top plate. It's like a little collar plate at the top. Because when all these sculpts were done, they have kind of moved to, I say they, the sculptors at Games Workshop, when they designed these, they had this kind of, this rule that Tyranids would have sets of 5 plates on their head and then another set on their back. and it was like a general rule that they used to do. So counting up, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I suppose this one down here would be 5, but I haven't really painted that grey. And you can see on the head 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In more modern sculpts, they kind of just do whatever looks cool. So this tells me that this is an armor plate up here. Do a couple of little false lines on there, and then I'll move to this side. I can see that my little sign in the background is flickering away. It really is cheap. Just like lights in the background. It's probably going to take me a few sort of mixes to get the consistency of this paint right. I normally don't land it right on the first go. When I start painting of an evening on the shows, I'm normally it's the first time I've painted for like a day at the very least, and I very rarely get the chance to paint for like an hour or two before the show, so I'm normally like warming up as the show starts. So I think this paint mixture at the moment is probably a little bit on the thin side. I can see there's some comments going in. Jeff says, "Yup, Martello Tower. Excellent, cool, brilliant." Martello. It seems like a bit of a mouthful. I'm struggling with words today. Wet Palette Miniatures says, "Choose a light source for each model. Saves heaps of time with big batches." Choose a light source for each model. What do you mean a light source? Choose a light source. Can you explain a little bit? I don't think if I'm following, it's probably going to be like the most obvious thing to understand. Are you talking about like zenithal painting, or are you just talking about how I paint under a light? Have it to your hand. There we go, cool. This, if you're looking at the tail of this termagant, this is the one that my cat tried to eat the other week, so it has some damage on its tail. I quite like it. It's my cat making a mark, isn't it? I might keep it there. I've made the decision now. I'm going to keep it. Does anybody else have pets that like to interfere? I'd love to have the cats in the studio, but they just like to eat everything. Behind the white curtain in the background is all my storage for all my, like, you know, gaming scenery and terrain and, well, just games and stuff, really. So there's lots of boxes and things, and my cat she just loves to go in there, and you'll just hear sounds of eating or twanging of elastic bands. She just can't help herself. If there's an elastic band, she knows exactly what they do. If you pick at them long enough, they eventually split and then they go shooting off somewhere, and she tries to eat them, so she's not allowed in here. Or she just jumps up on the bench and, you know, messes all my stuff up. Like eating termagants. I saw her walking through the house one day with a Skitari Ranger in her mouth. So no, she's not allowed in. Not happy with the consistency that I'm getting there, so I'm just going to make sure that I spend some time focusing. This is going to be a long a long haul if I can't get this a little bit quicker. We've got some more comments going in. Darren Villeneuve, hello, hello. Hi, Darren. Haven't seen you for a little while. Hope you're doing well. You joined nice and early today. Normally coming a little bit later. Nice to see you, mate. Hope you're doing okay. Are you painting anything this evening, or are you just coming along for the chill out? Yeah, my paint is really quite runny. Might be while I'm struggling a little bit. I'm getting some nice lines and stuff on there. Do you know what I realised I'm not doing? Last week I was using this, wasn't I? That does make it that little bit easier to hold. There we go. Oh, that's better. I'm going to have to put a little bit more paint in that mixture, I think, because it is quite runny. So I'm just going to scoop a blob out here. Mix that in. Clean the brush out. Clean your brushes out regularly, guys. Even if it's a rubbish brush. It's not about saving the brush at that point, it's about having a good consistency paint that transfers from the bristles to the model. Or do what you want, it's not a tutorial channel, you go do you. Look at me trying to teach people, I'm not even that good. Don't listen to me, don't even watch, it's rubbish. Okay, I think that is all those back plates there. I'm gonna put a little bit of light. I've got these little bobbly spiny bits here. I'm gonna put a little bit of light grey on them so they stand out nicely. That was quite arbitrary, I just kind of slapped it on there really. Darren says, just the chat, I'm afraid. I do have to apologise or say that you're afraid. Like, if you just come along, thanks for coming along. Thanks for supporting the channel. You're not under any obligation to have to paint anything whilst watching the show. Although maybe that is a very good way of getting people to paint stuff, which is the show's mission, of course. So you should be ashamed of yourself. Go find a model, get your paint, start painting. Yeah, that told you, didn't it? So moving over to this bad boy's head. Excuse me, that's a very annoying cough. I am unfortunately only human. Probably disappoints a lot of you. So sorry. Being quite timid with the brush today, it's a bit weird. Had one good line there, see if I can go back and replicate that. That'll do. If I add a few little false lines and things into it, it should brighten them up a little bit. Something like that, perhaps. Really small plates are very hard to get any detail in there, so I'm not going to be pushing on that. Putting a couple of little bits and pieces here and there, just so that at a glance from a distance it looks like it's got something. Something like that. There we go. Cool. Got some more people coming in today. Oh wow, what a crowd coming in today. Jeff says, Darren, have you finished that truck yet? No, not yet, Jeff. Too much on at the moment. Yeah, sometimes it is really difficult to kind of carve that time out of your week. Our lives are really busy, and I can only do so much to kind of help provide that time. If you haven't got time, you haven't got it, man. But you know, it makes it all the more special that when you do find that time, right? Out of this world, models and minis. Hi all. Hi John, thanks for coming along. If you guys haven't checked out John's channel, you should definitely go and check out. There's loads of people that wet palette miniatures, out of this world models and minis, Purple Line Creations, Charlie Foxtrot. You should definitely go and check out all the links. They're supplied right down there in the description. Go click on them. Do it now. Don't go do it now. Stay with me, but you know what I mean. Do it. Yes, go check them all out. Cool stuff out there. Hi John, hope you're doing well, mate. Wet Palette Miniatures says, how many of those have you got to get through? Those plates are looking crisp. Thanks, man. I will get faster at it. I've got 16 of these bad boys to do. So yeah, I'm looking to just kind of hone it in a little bit, find out what works, and that comes down to, like, you know, how to hold the mini, how, you know, how best to kind of hold the brush, so that am I going to use the point more? And I feel that these are all questions I should have answers to by now, but it seems like every week I come back into it, I always need that little bit of warm-up time. Something like that, perhaps. Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking okay. Okay, that was a bit faster, wasn't it? That was good. I think I kind of ruined it up at the top up there. Whatever, on to the other side. No one cares. And that's what I was talking about earlier on. Sometimes you just gotta give in a little bit. I want everything to be so perfect all the time, but I don't even know what perfection looks like. How can I achieve it? Just be happy that it's got some colour on it and it looks pretty good. Here we go, that's nice, it's going off fast again. Lost the point of my brush a bit, there we go. Yep, that'll do, that's nice. Okay, cool. Onto the gun. Because he too has a bit of armour on him, because it's actually a separate organism in the Tyranid lore. This is its own Tyranid creature, and they are symbiotic to each other. The gun has to, you know, be connected to the actual carrier. And he has like biological electrical pulse or whatever, and it sends it through the gun. Off he goes. Pew pew. I'm not entirely sure if you can even put the gun down. It's that attached to him. Getting a bit faster now. If I was doing like a really small force for like kill team or something, and I had like some termagants or hormagaunts or something of this size, there'd be no need to like do them all really quickly because you only have a few of them, and then I would spend way more time in cleaning them all up properly, despite the fact they came out of a charity shop or whatever, you know, and I'd spend loads of time doing just 1 or 2 models up. But the idea is just to have loads of these. I do like playing Tyranids as a horde, so I'll swarm the field in little things like this, and then send in a couple of big things. There we go. He is done. Nice, wicked, right, brilliant. Just claws for him then. He can go onto this side of the table because he is completed. Wonderful. Excuse me. Out of this world, models and minis. A huge holiday week here in the States, and not a lot of time for hobbying. Worked almost 80 hours this week. Man, that is. And I work in the leisure and tourism industry, and like 60 hours is an excessive week for me. So, well, my heart goes out to you. Obviously, you, labour of love. You enjoy what you do. So, well done. But do try and find yourself some, R&R, won't you? Don't work yourself to the bone. What are the holidays? Is it Thanksgiving? I don't really know when that, because we don't have that here in the UK. Is that around about now? I don't know anything. My thoughts were that it was always towards the end of November. Wet Palette Miniature says just the week, just the week holiday. Jeff says, would it want to put the gun down? Not while it was within synapse range, or synapse range, whichever you want to call it. So it is governed or led, controlled telepathically by bigger, powerful creatures. It doesn't immediately fall apart if they're not around, but if it comes under duress, like starts taking losses from its unit, then they behave much more differently. They are essentially fearless when their big leader casts or their synapse creatures are around, which is why people often try to target those straight off the bat, because they're often bigger and more powerful, and they keep the coherency of all the other little gribbly units like this one together. So yeah, take out the big things. He wouldn't put his gun down even if he wanted to with those things around, but maybe if he was by himself, maybe he would. Maybe he wants to branch off, start a life of his own, who knows. I think I'll do a nice long random line here. Don't know why, sometimes I just like to see where it takes me. Thinking I actually clean the brush out, so it's being a little bit gacky. I'll do a couple more with it, see what happens. Yeah, I'm getting some quite fat lines going down. It's very hard to keep them narrow and thin and make them look splitted like. John says, yep, it is Thanksgiving. Okay, cool. Yeah, I thought it was. Crazy holiday times. I recently went to York, and it was bonkers, man. Like the whole street, or all of the streets, all the way through the centre of York, was shoulder to shoulder crammed. It was like it was a concert. It was, yeah. And I'm not the sort of guy that does well in tight crowds, but I kept it together. So it was a Christmas fair, Christmas market. But we also discovered later that it was the end of the UK snooker tournament. So which was like being held somewhere nearby. So there just happened to be an excess of people there as well. My goodness, it was really busy. There were food stands serving all day, and they're going to be there for the whole fair. I think for a week or two, or maybe even for longer than that. and there were thousands of people. There was a queue there all the day, and like it was like a quarter of a mile long queue. They must have made a fortune, man. Crazy times. Not for me. I can do that. York, though, beautiful city. I recommend if you're in the area, you should go and have a little look. Some wonderful architecture if you're into that sort of stuff, which I am. Oh, I messed it up a little bit, but I'm gonna give in, and I'm just gonna leave it behind. No one cares a tiny little mistake on such a small miniature that's going to be in with a massive horde of all his buddies. Just leave it alone, Danny. How is the camera working out? Is it blurry? Is it out of focus? Is there a delay on it? I was experiencing some weird things earlier on, and I think they might have just been at my end. I don't think you're seeing them. The hell are the music levels this week? I mean, at least there's music, right? Last week there was not. I actually forgot about the music issue until just earlier on today. I had plenty of time to sort it out. And I was like, oh my goodness, yeah, the music. So I sorted that out earlier on. It's been a very productive day of getting stuff done. Very embarrassing last week. I apologise for the drop in quality. It's going along a bit faster now. I'm getting excuse me, I'm starting to pick my standards up a little bit. Okay, back over to his head. Oh, I'm being random. I'm doing something different. I'm doing all the side bits first. I'm going to cough really hard. Excuse me, I'm just going to shut my microphone off. Oh, that one made my eyes water. Yep, camera's good this end. Oh, good. I'm glad. It must just be, yeah, something weird happening on my computer, perhaps. It's a very hard thing to identify when you're doing tests. I always do like a little sound test, little video test, whatever. Make sure the computer's running fine and there's no background programs taking over any of the processor or anything like that. So it all runs smooth. Oh, dear. Well, thought I'd put this little cough behind me. I have not. It looks like I'll have to drink a lot of alcohol this evening to relax all the muscles in my throat. That's Dr. Danny's advice. Booze! I'm not a boozy kind of a guy. I do like a nice glass of wine from time to time. Let's just put any of those fears away. Danny, you've changed, man. You're an alcoholic now. I'm not. I'm all good. I discovered when I had the chest infection a few weeks ago when I wasn't able to do the show that a codeine paracetamol mixed tablet thing over the counter helped relax my coughing. Mixed it with a glass of red wine. It was a very comfortable evening. Yeah, I just thought I was relaxing in front of the TV. I was spaced out. It was good. I didn't cough all evening. But I don't want to be spaced out while I'm doing the show, so I won't do that right now. I need to put some more paint in the palette. It's just kind of drying up a little bit and get a bit claggy in the brush. Now, I said this week that I was going to do claws as well. I realised that might be a bit ambitious because there's a lot of this stuff to do here, and it is just a monotony of detail work. I'll put the claw thing on in case I got a little bit bored and I wanted to break it up a little bit. It's always nice to just move away from a colour sometimes when you've got a lot of one thing to do. And if you're painting Horde armies too, that is a genuine bit of advice from me. I don't know if I'm the sort of person that should be giving advice about painting, but yeah, it helps me. Otherwise you're just doing the same old thing over and over and over, and it just takes its toll on you. And it's one of those factors, isn't it, that prevents you from sitting down, oh, I've got to do more of that, I've got to get through this. It becomes a wall, a barrier, and then you don't want to like painting miniatures. And that's why we've all got unpainted grey miniatures lying around. There are, of course, some wonderful service providers out there if you don't want to paint your own army. Wet Palette Miniatures, right there in the live chat. If you've got stuff that you want painting, Wet Palette Miniatures is a wonderful service. This is not a paid plug or anything at all. That's not what EasyGate's all about. I genuinely do appreciate the work from Wet Palette Miniatures. Go on, there's a link in the description. Some beautiful work. If you've got a commission, you should head on over and have a little look. It's fantastic. Really, really good stuff. Particularly like the Dreadnought. You'll see what I mean. It's fantastic. I showcased it off here a few months ago now. No! You were talking to me just earlier on. It was almost a year ago now, wasn't it? Oh my goodness, how time flies. But anyway, if you don't want to paint your own miniatures, get Wet Palette Miniatures to do it for you. Okay, it's definitely time for some fresh paint in the palette there. So I'll just take the opportunity to clean my brush out. What I might do here is get a bigger brush. I'm just going to put a big old dollop in there. I'm going to water it down, not so much. I might put a little drop of flow improver in there just to help that transfer of paint, see if that helps a little bit. So just a little bit of water. Let's mix that in there. Just washed off half the paint I put in the pot there. Oh, never mind. Okay, where is my? I use airbrush flow improver. It does the same job. I'm just going to put one drop in there with the water. It might make it a bit easier. I have noticed in the past that flow improver is really good. Actually, looks like a pretty good mixture I've made there. Wet Palette Miniatures, lol. Do you know, that's one of my favourite things to say. Lol. Jeff says, we'll have another mini for you to paint soon. I need a zombie or a ghost or something like that for a big spooky house. Maybe a vampire. Big love. Yeah, peace back out to you, brother. Dan says, gotta go. Catch you after. Have a good evening. Yeah, bye, mate. See you soon. I hope you have a good night. Nice to see you again. Thanks for coming along. Go have a nap. Have a chill time. I love naps. Okay, I have made that a little bit runny again, but let's see how well this handles. Oh, actually, 10 times better. Oh, that's actually really good. There we go. Can actually get that little feathering thing that I like to do going on in there now. So rather than just having a line on a line, just feather it in a little bit. The reason I didn't do it so much on the smaller miniatures is it takes a really long time with 16 of them to do. Maybe it's not something I want to get involved in. Okay, cool, I'll move away. Come back to this side. So on the bigger models, the bigger creatures, rather than just painting a highlighty line and doing some, split lines to go with it, is I actually do all of the highlights, all of the colours of grey, and I feather them in to make these lines, so you get this natural sort of well, it looks like natural striations. Is that the right word? Lines that appear in the armour. And it looks really good on the bigger miniatures, and you see it, you know. On these smaller miniatures, what I'm after is just cheap detail. So I don't really want to get involved in, you know, that level of highlights on such tiny and prolific amount of miniatures. Little check on the time, 10 minutes to 8. We'll have a little break in a little bit, and then we'll review that I've still only done 2 miniatures. But I will be on for a little bit after the show. Like I said earlier, I'm going to be on the Easy8 Discord channel, the Easy8 After Party, and you can come and join me and whoever else is going to come along for a chat afterwards. Sometimes we get loads of people on there. Sometimes it's just me wondering where all my friends have gone. You know what I mean. It's how I make friends. We could talk about loads of stuff. In fact, this week, potentially, some very exciting things to talk about, which I'll get more into a little bit later on. Don't want to give too much away. But I know there's some people in the live chat who are getting quite excited about it because they know what I'm talking about. But I'll say more on that later. Bristles in the brush have just separated ever so slightly at the tip, so I just took full advantage of that and use it for like multiple lines. I tried to not encourage the brush to do that too much because it's expensive and I like to make it last a long time. So yeah, there you go, cool, another one done. Some more comments going in. Jeff says the toenail effect, I think we called it the toenail effect. Yeah, that's right. Split nails on monsters or trolls or, you know, whatever. The toenail effect. Don't ever let your nails get to that condition though. Awful. Bad. Go see a podiatrist. I think I dropped a little bit too much water into this mixer. It's a little bit hard to control, but that flow improver is making quite the difference. Try to round the corners off a little bit. Where you get these, like the corners from this line here and this line here, they obviously have a corner. It is a rounded corner, but when you paint it, you get this quite a very angular line. So I always try to kind of fill it in a little bit and just make it a little bit rounder. If you go too heavy with that, then I've noticed it looks well, it looks over painted. It just looks a bit caked. So it's important to try and balance a fine line on that. Very fine line. Pun intended. So for example here I've just done a line there, and if I do this line down here now, it just looks like there's an angle here. That paint line's gone, that paint line's gone. I've got quite a sharp angle on the inside of it. So now I just soften it off by rounding it off like that, and that makes all the difference. Same on this corner here, just round that off like that. And again over here, you can see there's quite an edge there. There we go, that's better. this particular plate here, you get some quite heavy corners going on in there because the plate has a different sort of shape to it. Those are some particularly sharp, cool looking lines I've just painted in there. Very happy with myself. Oh hello, it's popped out. Get you back in there now. Got a live one. Trying to run away. Okay, over to the head again. Keep using that point on that brush. And some of these plates don't have like the sharpest of creases down the middle, so I really like to make sure I've got a really fine point on the brush so that I can deliberately paint it in. Because when you're doing like your edge highlighting, you obviously use the edge of your brush. I say obviously, it might not be that obvious to you. So you would use the actual side of your bristles and kind of scrape it along the edge. But if there is no sharp edge, it's very difficult to get a nice sharp looking line, or even a line at all. So yeah, I'm going to make sure that my brush is maintaining a tip throughout, really. Just like now. And then that line becomes a bit more defined here, so it's a bit easier to just pick it out. Further back I go, I can use the brush, the side of the brush a bit more. And on this last plate here, almost nothing again. Just paint that center line in there. There we go. There. Oh, it's making my eyes go fuzzy. At least I haven't coughed for a minute there, that's nice. Okay, on to the legs. If I can get 4 done, I might move over to doing some claws to break it up a little bit. Oh, I didn't do that collar. Wet Palette Miniatures is going. Awesome show as always. Edges looking sharp. Speak soon. See you later, mate. Take care of yourself. It's been lovely to have you along. Thank you so much. I'll catch you another time. The reason I'm going back over some of those lines there is as it's drying. Like the paint wasn't, because it was watered down a little bit, it was not going on drying as opaque as I would want, so I just kind of see that as it's drying, and I just pick those lines back out again. add a bit more paint to it so that our line becomes a bit more defined. Nice, okay. You will notice that I'm not spending a great deal of effort trying to get inside to do the insides of those leg plates, whatever. Who's going to pick it up? Who's even going to look that hard? Not even me. I doubt you'd even see it if you took up like a up-close photo. So yeah, not all that fussed at that point. Gone back to that feathering technique for the toenail effect. Seems to be like maybe it's just the way I'm holding a miniature and doing those legs particularly. They look really good, that knee actually. The thigh. If I can like keep it fast, maybe I will try to just sort of develop it as I'm going along. Because it does look good. But if you don't do it right, it can look really scrappy and a little bit like a failed dry brushing. So yeah, I've learnt that the hard way. Don't like his forehead very much, just do that a little bit there again. Don't like the front of his collarbones being that dark either. Maybe I can make them a bit more lighter on the fronts there. Cool, that's a third one done. 13 more to go. Number 4, here we go. The reason that I didn't like that collarbone being dark at the front, I'll explain a little bit. So it might be a bit easier if I go down to my older miniatures to show you in a bit larger detail. Let's get the trigon. Here we go. So here is a particularly good shot of that style working really well on larger miniature. This is one of the first times I was really starting to practice this. What you got is you got a plate that sits under a top plate. Like I said, it's a plate that sits on top of a plate on top of a plate. So where they are joining, where one is going underneath, what it's looking like is it is creating a false shadow essentially over other models. I actually managed to perfect this even more. If I was to go to my Carnifex model over here, and you can see that it works even better. And over the whole carapace, it looks really, really good. So, is it false shadow? Is it a part of the coloration of that thing? If it's probably all goes into one sort of appearance. Maybe it's a mixture of shadow and just patination. It just looks really cool. But what happens when you reach the top plate and it's just the plate that sits on the top, like on this head here? It's not going into anything, so do I have to highlight all the way around? So what I've got here is directional highlights that go towards the shadow, but on the other side you end up with this kind of mouth-looking feature where lines go in this direction and then lines go in this direction, and then you've got like a dark patch in the middle. How dark do you go? If we're creating shadow, does it go black or does it just go to dark grey? So it's always been that kind of thing in my mind. It's been painting and trying to understand the problem that I'm looking at, not being able to articulate it very well. I still don't have like a perfect solution for it, but yeah, well, you know what I mean. Um, Stafford Causey. Hi, Staffy's come to join us. Just saying hi. Sorry, watching the football. We'll catch up over the weekend. Yay, music has returned. Have a good show. Jeez, mate. The cough has returned. Yes, the football is on. I'm not a massive football fan, but you know it's the World Cup, so I am following it. I have a sweepstake at work. I have 3 teams to win the sweepstake. England are doing very well, and they are one of my teams, which is great. I've got Poland. I can't remember who the third one is. Yeah, not a massive football fan, but yay, sports! Go you! Cool. Do you know what we're going to do? We're going to go for a quick break because it's already gone past 8 o'clock. So I'm going to, during the break, I'm going to clean my water pot out a little bit more. I might see if I can sit down and just do this one here. So I've got 4 that are done, and then I might move on to doing some claws just to break it up a little bit. But I do got quite a bit of grey paint that I don't want to waste. So we'll see what happens. I will see you back here in 10 minutes. You should definitely go and change your paint water. See you soon. Bye bye. Welcome back. I got a bit done. I went and changed my water, cleaned out the pot properly, sat down, realised I hadn't filled it back up with water, so that was not very helpful. Went and filled it back up again, got clean water, it's all good. And I went and got myself a glass of red wine. So cheers, and happy Thanksgiving, and happy volume 3. So yeah, thanks for coming along for the journey. Really do appreciate your company. So if you are watching tonight, or even on replay later on, I pick up a lot of replay, so thank you so much for doing so. It really helps me make the show really valuable to me, and of course to yourselves as well. So cheers. Yum yum yum. So I've just decided to use the last of that grey paint that I got in the palette there. I didn't want to waste it. Like I said, I wanted to kind of paint 4 because 4 is a nice number that 16 divides into. Obviously it divides. Does it divide into 3? Nope. so yeah, I did a maths GCSE and it worked live in front of lots of people. Yeah, so Easy 8 picks up a lot of replays. There's a few people that watch it overseas, so obviously like the timings don't always work out for people over there because obviously, you know, time zones are a thing. But I'll have about, you know, on an average show, 5 to 8 viewers. That's really nice. It's really, really good. But like some, you know, like I will averagely, I will pick up on average about 20 to 30 extra views throughout the following week. And then that will go up and up and up sometimes. In some cases, up to 150 views for that video. So yeah, there are a lot of people who watch this show. There's a lot of silent viewers, and I respect that. That's cool. However you want to watch the show, just thanks for coming along to watch the show. So if you are one of those people, hello and cheers. I hope that you feel motivated and inspired. If that inspiration is just picking up your paints and getting stuff painted, then all the better. But if you like the way that I paint something and you think, oh, I want to do that, then that's an even better inspiration as far as I'm concerned. Inspiration is such a gift. Got a bit heavy with the highlights on this one. I'll ruined that one a little bit. Never mind. Just painting in the highlights to his back plates. And then I'll just move on to claws. Just break it up because this show is about, motivating you and just kind of sharing the pain of the monotonous tasks when you're painting a horde army or whatever. You know, most of us go through it. So it's nice to kind of have that company to know that someone is doing something at the same time as you live right now somewhere in the world. Someone else is struggling painting your horde tyrannies or your horde arcs or whatever it is that you're painting. It's nice to know that someone else is going at the same time. But that being said, bit of a boring show watching a guy do it for 2 hours. So I do like to break it up a little bit. What I'll do is I'll take you over to the workbench because I'm going to be here for a few minutes. So here we go. And in a second I'm going to take a little pause because there's some stuff that I want to discuss with you, the guys, the community. And I'll be bringing this up every week, right through into the new year. So if you've heard this now and you have to drop out later, don't worry about having to come back to it. There's no need, unless you like to watch the show later on. Yeah, I made a bit of a blobby mess down there. But I'm just hiding it. I'm not drawing any more attention to the mistakes that I've made by, adding more paint and trying to recover from it. It's not going to be seen. Like I say, I'm trying to not be precious about it. I'm just trying to not give in to those little things. Worked well again there. See that my mid-tone is still quite dark, and the contrast here it still looks like a piping or a beading going around the outside of the plate there. So that's something to work on and develop it over time. I'm happy with it looking the way it is. It's certainly better than it did last time. Jeff has just said not showing any workbench. Yeah, I deliberately didn't do that. I didn't realise I was going to be so far behind. Basically, I thought I was going to get this one done a bit quicker, and I was just going to talk to you at the time I was painting it. So I always have to look at what I'm painting. You can have a look around the studio, But yeah, I thought I'd just bring you over here quickly. Of course, at the moment it's Black Friday sales on things like eBay and Amazon. So if you're thinking about getting yourself some new equipment, new tools, new toys to play with, have a go at, improve your experience, then now is the time to be doing it. It's normally about this time that I start buying equipment for the studio. I am looking at equipment for the studio. Obviously, I have the overhead mic up here, which I don't use at the moment because it's much better than the quality that I use on this bad boy. Excuse me. But because it's so much better quality, it really does take a lot of effort for me to kind of get it in the right position, make sure it's not blocking the screen, make sure it's not in my way, make sure that it's all directional, make sure that it takes a lot of work. So I am working on it bit by bit, but what I'm looking at is getting a really nice camera to look down. These ones do a nice job, but I don't like the autofocus on them. They're very good as webcams. But that's essentially what they are, just webcams. And for doing more arty sort of stuff, a nice DSLR. DSL? You know what I'm talking about, one of those fancy pants cameras. I've also been looking at having a nice new monitor because, like I said earlier on, the one that this camera is just above, the one that you're looking at me on. Hello. That one there is really old and it was just kind of lying around. Don't even really know where it came from. But I'd like to replace it. But it's not entirely necessary. I do all my checks on the rig behind me. There's a big PC behind me there. I do all my tests and stuff on that, so I know what it looks like before the show starts. And if I was to buy a new monitor, it wouldn't improve the output. It wouldn't improve what you see. So it's not my priority. Almost completed this bad boy. I've gone to his legs before I've gone to his head, which is a little bit different for me. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I'm going to do his head now, so I don't forget it. I'm going to feather in the head. See how much different that looks. Paint's a bit dry in the brush. A touch of water perhaps. Quite like this feathering look, this little tiny lines just painted in rapidly. Works really well on the small plate, so I really quite like it. Oh, the evolution of your own painting styles and techniques, huh? Okay, that's 4. Oh no, it's not. Gotta do the gun. Almost there, almost there. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. Okay. I'm rushing it. Stop it. Okay, there we go. These aren't the best models to paint because they're so old and badly looked after in the past. They're quite naff in some places. That one had some troublesome bits on him, but that is 4 that have got their carapaces finished. I can see me coming back and doing little bits and pieces on them over time because I'm liking the way that my painting style is evolving as I'm actually painting it. John says, glasses of wine, cheers, cheers. Jeff says, it's vodka night tonight. Yeah, I'm a big fan of vodka. It's the order I'm getting. I'm taking after you. But yeah, we've got a whole case of this lovely red wine. This is 19 Crimes. I'm not allowed to advertise, but I'm allowed to say what it is. 19 Crimes. It is lovely. Anyway, I'm just going to come away from the workbench for just a second. Once I found out where my mouse has gone. Maybe I'm not going to go away. There it is. My mouse completely disappeared. The rawness of a live show. So, the reason I wanted to stop right there, just to kind of break it up a little bit as well, is to talk about an event next year that I've loosely mentioned, lights gone off, loosely mentioned in previous weeks, or last week especially, which is Salute. Salute is a games convention, war games show expose. All the big guys go there, and there's lots of little guys there as well, lots of independents, etc. Lots of games on display, lots of stuff to go and buy, lots of games to go and watch, the standard games convention. As far as I'm aware, Salute is and has been the biggest sort of games show of its type in the UK, and it's a real crack. Apparently, I've never been. Lots of people have told me it's worth going. Typically in the past, as far as I'm aware, it's been held in Birmingham, but next year, the next one coming in 2023 is going to be in London, which I suppose is more accessible to people, especially if you're outside of the UK. It's probably easier to get to London anyway. What I'm proposing is that we do another Easy 8 road trip. I am planning more get-togethers and community meetups and stuff before then, but I thought it would be a really nice opportunity to go to something really, really big and just have a really nice weekend out. Now, it typically has been in the past, overusing the word typical, it has been in the past over an entire weekend, so at least 2 days. As far as I'm aware, it's only on one day, and I think that is a post-COVID situation. However, it's still going ahead next year. 2023, April the 22nd. I'm just going to check that. I've got it on my phone right here. April the 22nd, so 2023. It's going to be in the XL, in London. I think it's the XL Arena. And tickets are £12 for an adult or general admission. £12, really, really affordable, and as far as I'm aware, really worth going. And it'll be a great opportunity to get the Easy 8 community together. And I say, being in London with plenty of time to go, if you are outside of the UK, because I know that I've got some quite a few European viewers and some American viewers as well. And if you did fancy a little trip out, then perhaps it is the opportunity for it that we could meet up. And if it's just one day and we're all local, then let's go out and spend the day there. That would be great. But if more people are going to come in from all over the place, all over the world, then we'll make a big weekend on it. So I would love to know your thoughts, views, etc. on this subject. If you fancy going, if you think it's a great idea, even if you can't make it, you've got good ideas about what to go and do, then tell me about it. Drop it down in the comment section down here. Talk to me about it on Facebook. Come and talk to me about it on the Easy 8 after party on Discord. Send me private messages, whatever it is that you want to do. Quite a few of you know me by person by now. I've got a few friends that watch this. Hi guys. Etc. My dad Jeff in the live chat is going. He runs his own company called Purple Lion Creations. He's going along with Colin Farrant from Charlie Foxtrot Models, a private personal business, makes some of the most fantastic laser cut terrain in 28mm. So they're going to be going together as a part of their business, and I just thought it would be great to go along as a hobby community as well. We could all go out together, go by train or whatever. I'm not driving in London. Who drives in London? What is wrong with you? Get the train. It is a bit of an expense to get there from where I live, but perhaps you live closer. We can certainly go in convoy, or perhaps we'll get a minibus. So if there's lots of us that are going, we could, make it much more affordable, much more accessible, and it's just great to hang out with you guys. I've done it twice now, where the community have met up and we've gone to the Tank Museum in Dorset, and we had a really, really good time. And it would be great if we were to go up on the night before, have a meal, have a few beers, get to know each other, because there might be some new people that haven't met before, face to face, in a nice public environment, obviously, for safety, and go and have a really nice time at the War Game Show. So that's Salute in 2023, April the 22nd. General admission ticket is £12. It is a very popular event. If you are considering going, get your tickets now. I'm going to be buying mine on the Easy 8 after show. After show? I can never get my own products right. Easy 8 after party after the show. What is in this wine? Crazy stuff. I'm going to be buying mine after the show. Come and watch me push the button. Great time. So yeah, there you go. And it may be in the following year, or in following events even, that, like I said last week, we can actually go and make an Easy 8 stand and actually display some of the stuff that you've been doing whilst watching the show, and I'll display some of my stuff that I've been doing on the show, and actually make Easy 8 known to the war gaming, or the gaming community as such. Those are my thoughts on it. I'd love to know what you think about it. Do get in contact with me. Talk about it in live chat, like I'm here right now. Cool. Anyway, I'm going to get back into it. Don't forget that if you are new here, or if you haven't done it and you've been here for ages, do like, follow, share and subscribe. Every little bit that everything that you do makes a massive difference at my end. Even if it's a little thing, makes a big thing at this end. So do subscribe. I really appreciate that. Yes, subscribe. Workbench. Here we are, back here again. I'm going to do something with claws to break it all up a little bit. So these guys don't have claws like the Hormigons. These ones have got really big scything claws, or scything talons they're called. But they've got these little arms underneath, just like these guys have. And there's lots of spikes on them. And their hooves are grey at the moment, but I want them to be white like on this chap. Hormigons have got these like galloping, leaping legs, and their legs are kind of pushing away. Termagants are more skittery. Yeah, these guys are more leapy and boundy. So that's what I'm going to do. There's not a lot on them. So, quite an easy job to do. Just thought it'd be nice to break it up a little bit. Gotta give this a really good shake. This is Screaming Skull. It's my favourite off-white colour. I say off-white, slightly dull white, whatever. Bone colour. I'm going to give it a good whazz on the Easy 8. Wazzomatic. Every time. Just going to leave it there for a minute. Wazzomatic. It really makes a difference. It's a really cheap Wazzomatic. It's like the £30 nail varnish mixer. But you can get the Vortex mixer, which is like 3 times the price. Maybe one day. Or maybe in the Black Friday sales. That's an idea. I'll go and have a little look at that. Just going to scoop out a lump of this. Pop that into the palette. And I'm just going to drop a little bit of flow improver in there. I'm really sorry about the coughing this evening. It's really caught me unawares today. It was starting to come back a little bit yesterday, and then yeah, I feel fine now. As of the last time I had a cough. Oh my god. Man, I'm stoked about Salute. I really want it to be a big thing. It's going to be great. I'm going to have such fun. And I've never been to a really big event like that, so yeah, really looking forward to it. John, I'm also looking at you as well over there stateside. Come on over. I'll even put you up if you want, because, you know, it makes more sense if you're coming over from the States. Come on over and, you know, spend a week or something. Whatever. Or just come over for the day. Just flying across the Atlantic Ocean. Just for a few hours. I don't even know how expensive or cheap it is to fly from the States or to the States at the moment. I've only ever flown to Iceland before, outside of the UK. I'm one of those guys that've never really been abroad much, which is something that I would like to change, but, you know, I've either been poor or working. Yeah. Do I feel like I've missed out? Yeah, a little bit. But am I happy with what I've done? Yeah, absolutely. There are some wonderful countries out there that I'd really like to go and see. Italy, I'd love to go and see Italy. Japan is very expensive. Iceland was really affordable and beautiful. Like, getting there and back again, £65. Flying to Iceland was really cheap. It was cheaper getting to Iceland by plane than it was to drive the car and park it in the airport car park. Crazy. Found some accommodation right in the centre of Reykjavik in a beautiful, very convenient Airbnb right in the city centre, but just down a little side street just to get away from the hustle and bustle of the main the thoroughfare, if you want to call it that, the main road that goes through Reykjavik. If you've ever been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Living in Iceland is extremely expensive, mind you. Crazy prices over there, but you know it is. And they have the Icelandic krona, which is the isk, and it doesn't translate into pounds very well. So where a bunch of grapes might be 80 pence to £1.20 perhaps in this country, over there it was like 2,500 isk. And you have your holiday money, don't you? You just like, oh yeah, we'll get a bunch of grapes today. Oh, we'll get a bunch of grapes tomorrow. I like my fruit. And then I realised it was £7 a bunch. So I stopped eating grapes when I was in Iceland. Wow. Okay. Culture shock. It was a wonderful time though. Beautiful country. Anyway, that's my little bit about Easy 8 Travel Agency Club. I live quite far away from London. I live right down in the southwest of the UK, which is very, very country area. Lots of farmland and very rural. We have a couple of cities, but they're all very, very small. They're almost like large towns, really. The nearest city to me is Exeter, so if you've ever been to Exeter or know of it, then you know how small that is. It's a very rural place, and the internet doesn't exist in some places, and yeah. Very outback. So it's not exactly a metropolitan place, so there aren't like hotels and stuff everywhere down here. But there are things like B&Bs, so if you are wanting to come over from another country and you want to like make the most of it and come and hang out with the community and whatever, there's lots of rural places that are very affordable, but the travel costs might be inconvenient. I am aware. I just get very excited about trying to bring the community together, which is one of the missions of Easy 8. The main one, of course, being to get to paint your stuff, but the other one is to just kind of share that community, bring people together, share what's out there. Lost a point on my brush, let's get that back. I'm going to add a little bit of water to the paint because it is a little bit thick, just a little bit. There we go. Excuse me. Jeff says £65. That's the same price as a beer over there, isn't it? Yes. Yes, with a question mark. Alcohol in Iceland, as with most Scandinavian countries, is expensive. Yes. Me and my partner went for a posh meal. I'm not a fine diner. I do like eating. I do like eating out. I'm not a fine dining person. But we thought, while we're over here, my first time being abroad, my partner's been abroad many times, but my first time being abroad, I thought, do you know what? Let's do it. She really wanted to go somewhere, and there's an exquisite place in Iceland to go called the Perlan, which is this giant rotating restaurant dome that sits on top of a massive structure, which is 5 giant hydro tanks, like heated water tanks, where Iceland pulls all of the water out from the from under the mantle, because it's a volcanic region, and they just have all this hot water, and heating, like central heating for the whole country, is free, and that's where it is. And the restaurant sits on the top, and they've got a museum inside. We thought, yeah, let's go. So yeah, we were sat down completely underdressed as we're in our ski wear and hoodies. It was a shirt and tie area. Anyway, we went. Service was wonderful. The food was delightful. And as we were eating, I suddenly worked out how much everything had cost us. We had a mains with no starters and 1 pint each, and that came to nearly £100. So we enjoyed our... Oh, no, we did have a starters. I beg your pardon. We did have a starters. I worked it out when we were eating that starters. Enjoy everything slowly and watch the city go around. It was expensive, but we had a wonderful time. We went out to go see the wilderness, so we got a lot of that as well. I've just done all the claws on him. I might, while I'm here, just pick out his teeth. I'm a little bit nervous about the teeth on this model because the sculpts aren't that great, if I'm honest. They are cool sculpts, but they're a bit old. So the teeth aren't very well defined, and because it's been painted badly over the years, and I haven't really done, I've been quite deliberate in the fact that I haven't stripped the old paintwork off of them. Those details are quite hard to pick out, so I've just got some watery bone colour there. Fine point on my brush, I've got loose hair on it. And I'm going to try and pick the teeth out as best as possible. But what I'm going to try and do later on is actually rely on a bit of a sludge wash with some Agrax Air shade perhaps, just to pick out the defining sort of lines of the teeth in there. As long as it doesn't look too rubbish, I'm happy with that. There we go. Okay, cool. So he's got some little claws down here. He's got some hooves down there with little spiky bits on the back of his heels. A little spike on the front of the gun. But as I was talking about Iceland, I realised he's got a couple of claws that poke through the gun. Here's his thumb and his fingers that go underneath, but because he's symbiotic, not just biotic, he's got a little claw that sticks out here. I've always known about this claw. It kind of comes through. But there's a couple of other claws up here that actually stick through the gun. How long have I had this model? Never realised that before. So there you go. And we've got these little pipes, which I'm going to paint all the pipes right at the end. So there's one done with some claw colours. Okay, let me just wash this brush out because that's all dried in the bristles there. John's holding up some... I can't see what that little emoji is. What is it? It looks like a little storm, like a little typhoon. I can't see it. It's so tiny. There's been a little update on my streaming software where the where the icons have all been changed and the text has all gone really small. John says, trying out the drop drippers decanting system to transfer my Citadel pots into dropper bottles. Yeah, I have thought about doing that. I don't have many Citadel paints, but it would be handy to have them to, yeah. So let me know how you get on. I'd actually, if you could do like a little video, I'd love to see that actually, to see how efficient it is. Is it worthwhile? You've also got to say, oh, it's pricey, but I'd love to go back. Always said I'd love to take my daughter since her name is London. Oh man, that's cute. Did you name her after the city, or is there another reason you called her London? So yeah. I mean, I'm not asking you to come to London. I'm just saying, like, hey, if you did come to London, it'll be super cool. So yeah, maybe consider it. If you're interested, it'll be great to see you and London in London. That'll be awesome. And of course, if you are going to come over, I'll make more deal of it than just going for one day, of course, and hang out and stuff, because it's a community, and a community is built around friendships, and I love making friends through this hobby. So I do consider you a friend. You've been watching the show for a long time. Thank you very much. We've had some enthusiastic conversations, a little Marmite competition, that was just still quite bizarre. Me and Jeff enjoyed watching your reaction because we're both Marmite fans. So yeah, it'll be great to hang out. If you do consider coming over, let me know. I'm sorry that it's so expensive to come to this country. Cool. Next one. Let's get these little claws down here. I'm not worried at all about getting it on the bases. Because the bases, as you can see, have not been painted or textured or anything yet. They have got like a load of old flock on them. This is from the previous owner. These are all second-hand miniatures that came from a big carrier bag in a second-hand shop. Yeah. Excuse me. So yeah, the previous guy or girl, whoever, monkey, did a really quick job on them, and then decided they didn't want them anymore. Excuse me. Oh dear. This is why, when I was really poorly with this cough, that I didn't want to do the show, because I'd be like, oh, coughing, and just not getting anything done, and ruining everything that I had done, and generally just coughing at you. It's not COVID. I have had COVID at least once. And I had to shut myself away from work for 10 days, as was the policy with my employer at the time. And for 3 days I felt awful. And after that I just felt like I was wasting time at home. But gotta keep the country safe. I did my bit as best as I thought I could. This definitely isn't COVID though. How are your projects getting on this evening? If you are working on something, a few of you have said you are, how's it coming along? Are you doing lots of boring and monotony work like I am? How are you getting on? Is the company okay? Does the company need to shut up a little bit? Massive cat hair there. Wouldn't be a show without a cat hair. There it is. Let's get rid of that. Done. This one's got a really big mould line working all the way down the front there. Because when these were gifted to me by my dad, hi dad, a long time ago, purchased from the second-hand shop, I realised that I wasn't getting through my miniatures anywhere near. It's like I was doing one a year, man. It was awful. Maybe it wasn't that slow, but it felt like it. So I thought to myself, oh, I just won't bother. I'll just paint them. I'm sure it'll be fine. And actually, I wish I did clean them up a little bit. but now I have even more stuff than I used to, so I definitely want to just get them painted. They have been sat in my ownership for so long that it depresses me that they haven't been finished. I've had them for about 20 years. That's how depressing it is. Not quite 20 years, but not far off of it at all. Okay, just make sure that I've done all the claws. 2 hands. Give him a quick coat because it's quite an opaque colour going over, sorry, a transparent colour going over grey. He's got 2 hooves with 2 heel spurs. That's a good word, isn't it? Heel spurs. Make sure that all sides are painted. Yep, cool. And he's got a little claw at the bottom of his, I suppose, biological magazine. Claws on the top and teeth. That's number 2 done. Lovely. This is the most they've ever been done. Loving it. Gonna clean my brush out. We got a couple of weird, like, naughty little chats going into their live chat there. Ignore them. Get it occasionally. Some like someone fishing or someone just spamming or whatever. Don't get any trolls on the show, which is great. New private dating chat heart. Brilliant. Don't click on that. If that's a link, you don't need me to tell you, don't do it. By all means, take the mick out of them live on the show. I'm totally fine with that. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Jeff says, Marmite, that was funny. Yeah, do you know what? Kudos and hands down to you for doing that. I still don't like the fact that you were drinking your PG Tips tea without milk. What is wrong with you? Oh my god, that is bitter and stringent. Cool, here we go. The next one then. What time are we at? We're at 5:02, so we are getting close to the end of the show. So yeah, if you've got anything that you want to say, mention, talk about, now is a good time to do it. I will be on for a little bit after tonight's show at the Easy 8 after party on Discord. I got it right that time. Yeah. So if you want to come have a chat with me, I will be on, just finishing off a few more models, maybe having a glass of wine. It's just nice to chat with you guys actually after a show. Talk about some cool things. If you want to talk about Salute, then we'll talk about Salute. One thing that I do want to bring up, and I'm going to talk about more overcoming shows, coming weeks, is I am looking at taking Easy 8 into a slightly different direction. Don't worry, Easy 8 Online Painting Club will always be here. I've always said it will. I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to do away with it. It's here. It's helped people. People have sent me messages, man, saying thank you for inspiring me to paint my models. People who are recovered from mental health issues. So it would be a folly to not do this show. It's great for my mental health. So yeah. But I want to do more stuff. I've always wanted to do more stuff with it. I've just not had an awful lot of time around work and just general life commitments. But I've had some enthusiastic conversations recently with some viewers who have their own businesses, and they've kind of tested the waters with live streaming themselves, and we have started conversations about teaming up and doing something together. We are trying to find some common ground and compare our mission statements, and see where this collaboration could go and what we could do. I really like to do things live because when it goes wrong you get to see it because it's real, and painting and gaming is all real. It's all live time, and I don't want to edit. It was made as a video podcast back during the lockdown to bring people together, and that's become my shtick. It's what I do. So whatever it is that I do, I'd like to keep it as a live stream. I'm not against recordings and editing, but I like the rawness when things go wrong, like last week. We just cracked on, didn't we? And we just did it. I got 20 views out of last week's video, and it was rubbish. So thanks, but also well done me. So yeah, we're talking about, you know, what we want to do and what we want to get out of it. What, more importantly, what value we can bring to doing something together. And we're very excited about just kind of working together. It's about bringing a community together, isn't it? So if you've got ideas on what you think would be appropriate or what you'd like to see, even if it's a bit of a harebrained idea, it might turn into something that's not a harebrained idea. So let us know. Again, like with everything, you can drop it in the comment section down there after the show. You can talk about it right now in the live chat because I'm right here, or you can message me directly. You can put it up on the Facebook, Easy 8's Facebook page. You can talk to me about it on Discord at the Easy 8 After Party. Yeah, got it right that time as well. However you like, man. Talk to me if you've got something that you think would be great. I've got ideas. The other people, say party involved, I've also got ideas. Talks have only just started. I'm thinking maybe some sort of a planned and scheduled podcast of some sort, because that would allow me to work it in around my quite busy schedule. Excuse me again. People have said in the past that despite me saying, hey, I think there's a lot of tutorial stuff out there already, or reviews and things like that, that people do want that sort of stuff from Easy 8. So that is one way, one avenue that we can go, and I'm more than happy to help provide that. I just thought that I'm not the best person to be providing it because I feel like I'm still quite an amateur. I've been doing it for a long time, but I'm not that good, and there's so much stuff out there that you could probably get better stuff from. However, if you feel this is your community and you want to get that information from here, then I'm all for it. But you might have some other cool ideas, and it might not be necessarily about painting or reviews. It might be, I don't know, talking about the lore of a specific game or whatever. But obviously, for me and the other party involved, we want to make sure that it's worthwhile for both of our mission statements, and that's really important for us. And to you, obviously, ultimately the viewer, right? If it's important to realise I'm not actually in the shot. If it's important to our mission statements and it stays within our remit, then obviously it will be important to our viewers as well. So yeah, we want to keep it relevant, basically. I can see some comments have gone in. I'll check them out in just a second. I had a little twitch then because I'm not using my painting handle, am I? Crappy little teeth, which I suppose when it's to scale and it's the size of a bear or a very large dog or a horse or whatever that actually scales to a person, probably not crappy little teeth, right? Okay, cool. Not the best teeth on that one, but do you know what? I'm sure I can make it look better eventually. Just get paint on it. Cool. Right. Done for a minute. I've got one more to do. I'm not going to do them right now. I'm going to do them on the after party. Just wash my brush out. I will clean them out properly after the show. Cool. I'm going to come away from the workbench here. See some other comments going in. Keza said, I felt unsteady with my painting this evening, so I decided to stop just listening. Oh, okay, cool, thanks. I hope you're feeling okay. You're not unsteady like, oh, I feel weird. But you just, shake your hands. we all get that. Kes says you could stream making some of the buildings you have been buying. Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I've got quite a stack of laser cut MDF stuff. So yeah, that's an idea. Maybe a building thing, perhaps. Yeah, anything like that. Let me know if you've got any ideas, because I am all ears. I just want to make sure that I have touched on all subjects this evening, because that's something that I've done in the past, is that I've gone, yeah, I'm going to talk about this, and then I don't talk about it. No, I have discussed everything. So yeah, lots to be excited about, lots of ideas to be excited about, with things like Salute and stuff, and new potential prospects of some sort of Easy 8 collaboration with the community in the future. Yeah, lots to be excited about. It's been great being back on a Friday. Over the coming weeks, I've got lots of training to do with work. Not that's going to take me away for lots and lots of time, but might be inconveniently placed around. So as I find out what dates I'm going to be going away and doing that training, excuse me, I might manipulate the days in which I do this show on. So I might move it to a Thursday, for example, as I've done in the past. But I will make sure that you guys are updated with that info as and when time comes. Yeah, otherwise all good, and hopefully this cough clears up and that light stays on. It's doing my head in. Wants to fight me. Anyway, cool. Thank you so much for coming along this evening. It's been great, a good vibe, a really chatty live chat today, and just ignore the private dating chat stuff. Don't click on that, don't trust that at all. Thanks very much for coming along. It's been great. I hope you got loads painted today. I'll see you next week. Until next week, stay safe, be kind, keep on painting. I'll see you soon. Take care now. Bye bye. Got a cough. Such quality.